rotation question, because I feel like that's one question, one topic that when I'm scrolling the timeline, I see a lot of people have very strong opinions about it. So, like, how do the Pistons like really like get this settled? Because I know JB has said like, hey, we want to play, 12 guys. We'll play, the best guys in the second half and kind of give an opportunity for 12, 13 guys in the first half. Like, what's kind of like your thought process with this whole rotation?
It's tough because after the win streak, you really realize the depth that this team has. Because a lot of talk was made before the season about just how deep this team is, and some people kind of questioned it. But seeing it come to reality when you have someone like Danis Jenkins stepping up and becoming a big time player for you, and Javonte Green, who was a pretty quiet signing for the Pistons, really like stepping into that role, and I think at times being like the second best perimeter defender on this team. I think like his presence has been incredible, and I think like that's something that with Paul Reed as well, like he steps in and he's able to give you energy and offense and defense. Like it's like you can't really say that there's a weak link on this team. So I understand. Like I could not put myself in JB's shoes trying to figure out who exactly I can't play any given day. And I realize it's a really difficult decision to make. That being said, since the team's been relatively like fully healthy, since Tobias and Ivy have come back, um, it's been a little bit clunky just with figuring out the rotations. You can tell that there's not a lot of synergy between players that haven't played together yet this season, and it's been kind of, in my opinion, slowing down what made the team really like gel throughout that 13 game win streak. And it was, that identity of defense, playing in transition, and then also a lot of great ball movement. I think we've seen turnovers really start to spike in the last 4 games or so. And that wasn't something that I thought was a major issue for the Pistons prior, especially during that win streak. I thought their turnover problem has been an issue for like, I mean, I don't even know how long, right? Like that's every year we go
Yeah,
on about
last
how
year
the team,
it was a problem.
yeah, has issues with turnovers. But I thought for that 13 game win streak and the beginning of the season, I thought the turnover problem was relatively kind of solved. But we've seen it pick up a little bit more the last 4 games, and I feel like that definitely correlates to the fourth quarter collapses that we've also seen a little bit, and with Cade also having a lot more to do with those turnover problems as well. It's just like there's something out of place with the rotations right now. I know JB is very headstrong on going with this 12-man rotation, and I mean, to his credit, you're not really failing for it. You're 2-2, in the last 4, but I definitely feel like it's a tough decision, and you can't necessarily say, all right, well, this guy, you've played your way out of the rotation. And then also contractually, some guys you're paying, like you don't want them sitting on your bench for the amount of money you're paying them as well. So it's kind of it's a weird situation. I feel like going to a 9 or 10-man rotation at most is the way to go, especially because that's what we've seen breed success with this team and allows them to kind of play together a little more. But yeah.
Yeah, especially during the winning streak, like you're playing 9, 10 guys because you had to because of injuries. Obviously, Tobias missing those 9 games, the ankle injury. Jaden Ivey was still out at the time, and once you got those two back, it was just like, okay, Ivy's going to be in a minute restriction. Karis LeVert's been in and out of the lineup. I thought the one thing that I saw, which I just don't think you can do anymore, is I don't think you can play Karis LeVert and Jaden Ivey on the court together. I just don't think it works. I think what you saw last night is have Danis, keep calling him Danis. My bad, Danis. Play Danis at point guard and Ivy at shooting guard, more of his natural position, and it's more free flowing. When you have Karis and Jaden Ivey out there together, it just feels really weird. It feels very clunky. You don't know who's gonna bring the ball up the court. You don't know if Karis is going to just go full ISO mode, because that's kind of been who he is. His whole career is just pound the rock for 12 seconds and try to find a mismatch. And if he can't, he passes it back out. It's just really bad process at times. But I mean, the rotation thing, I can understand. Like, everyone stepped up during that winning streak. You want to give every guy an opportunity. But to your point, like, you don't want to be paying Duncan Robinson all that money and him not starting anymore. You don't want to have Karras, on your bench and you're paying him a full mid level. Like it's a tough decision, but I think JB might have to go to maybe a 10, 11 at the most. I think trying to play 12, 13 guys every night is going to be very difficult. Not to mention, just got an update on Marcus Sasser right before we went live on this podcast. So he's going to be rehabbing with the Motor City Cruise to
Oh,
come
I didn't
back.
know that.
So yeah, another guard that could possibly crack your rotation. I doubt you want to be playing 14 guys every night.
Yeah, no, that's just not generally a formula for success on the NBA level. Let alone honestly any level. It's so difficult to play that many guys in one given night. I will say on the Karras thing, I think we've seen flashes of what really makes him like a valuable role player in this league, and it's difficult because I think the fit with Ivy is clunky. I think he played well alongside Danis, but Ivy and him are kind of too similar in my opinion, which
Yeah.
makes their synergy a little bit weird. I think he's played decent with Cade, but I just I do agree. I don't know how many more minutes you want Karras and Ivy sharing together, unless you have like a carved out role where one uses the ball a lot less, and both players kind of play it very similar. That I don't know which one you're going to make that sacrifice with.
Yeah. I mean, like I knew when we signed Karras, it's going to be a way different feel from like a THJ, where it's more of just isolations, getting to the basket, mid range. I'm like that's his game. And you just mentioned like Ivy does like kind of to play the same way. He's more like getting to the basket, can shoot threes if you need him to shoot threes. It's kind of been improved over the last season and a half or so. But I mean, you have to find a way to, just saying, hey, you're going to be facilitating, you're going to be playing off ball because I feel like they both want to play off ball. And then they're asked to, share, point guard duties when both of them to me aren't really a true, quote unquote point guard. Where with Danis last night, you saw he was looking like he only had 9 points, but he was looking to get the ball out of his hands. Like it didn't stick when he was running the second unit last night.
Yeah, and that made a huge difference, and ultimately gaining a win too. And I think his finishing around the rim, his touch around the rim,
Yeah.
is really also something that makes him super valuable because I feel like he finishes really well around the rim, and you saw that right in the clutch, kind of almost with a game deciding layup over Bam Adebayo. I think Danis, and I said this on a tweet where I, some people might have disagreed, but I really do feel like he's earned that spot in the rotation where I don't think he should be playing like 10 or less minutes a game. Like he should be a permanent fixture in this rotation, whatever it may be. I feel like it needs to include Dennis. And honestly, he plays really well next to Cade
Yeah.
um, as a combo guard as well. So I feel like there's so much you can do with Dennis that I would hate to see him, not continue to get minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's proven enough to a point where it's just like he's earned a good 12 to 15 minutes a night just for the play that he's had. 2 weeks ago, even last night, every time he does get minutes, he impacts it. He might not always score, but it's just his presence out there, not being afraid to shoot those buzzer beaters that we've seen. I mean, the buzzer beater against Washington, the force it in overtime, the buzzer beater against Philly at the end of the third quarter. I think the thing with him that I think maybe some fans don't really pay attention to is just he can switch his role on the fly like that. Like if you need him
Yeah.
to shoot, he'll shoot. You need him to the cut to the basket, he'll cut to the basket. If you need him to call Kate out, getting blown by Davion Mitchell in the fourth quarter last night, like a two-way guy's calling out your lead guard. Like how many stars would like actually like do that if you're Kate Cunningham? I don't know if you peeped that last night of him like calling Kate out after Davion beat him and they go in the huddle and like Stu's laughing at him. It's just like, man, like what is that? A two-way guy calling out our star player. Like I just kind of love to come up with him, man. It's a really cool story this year.
It's what makes him a dog. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not something. It's not like he's talking out of place either. Like
Yeah.
it was a fair comment. I think he fits in on so many levels with this team, and I feel like if one player really like embodies kind of the transcendence the Pistons have gone through in the last like 2 years, it really would be Dennis. Like a guy who was on a two-way, didn't get much run last year, but then now all of a sudden got a little bit of an opportunity and is just running with it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does get a standard contract. Don't know what they do there, whether they just cut Isaac Jones, which I know this is like completely random, but I've never seen someone get a last roster spot and spend more time with the Motor City Cruise than he does with the Detroit Pistons. It is the most wildest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, yeah, if I were to take a guess, I would like to think that Dennis eventually does get converted to that standard contract, and Isaac Jones ends up getting a two-way, specifically just
Yeah.
because he spent so much time with the Crews. We'll see, but I just with the amount of time he spent there, it feels like a logical next step.